The arms before me today were manufactured by some of the absolute finest gun makers in Paris in the mid-19th century. We've got a pair of Gaston Renette exhibition percussion kind of dueling style pistols here at the front, dated 1855, and then here at the back we have a Lepage Moutier double barrel percussion shotgun dated 1860. This is a very rare opportunity to see two exhibition sets at the same time. The pair before me here was actually sold in our December 2023 Premier Firearms auction, and this beautiful Lepage Moutier presentation shotgun at the back is going to be sold in our upcoming Premier Firearms auction. Both Gaston Renette and Lepage Moutier were actually gun makers to Napoleon III, and Lepage Moutier is actually, a descendant of the famous Lepage firm that had existed in France since the 18th century and had made arms for French kings, Napoleon, and then on into Napoleon III and beyond. So one of the most famous firms in French firearms history, especially when it comes to deluxe arms like this. We've actually already done a full video on this beautiful pair of pistols in the front. If you haven't seen that already, definitely go check that out. We kind of cover all the details on that one. But some of my favorite aspects of these pistols is actually the little animal details that you see all around the guns, especially the silver gilt lizards on the pommel caps. That's actually a feature we've seen on a few different pairs of French exhibition pistols going back to the 1840s and then on forward. So you can kind of see how these pistols built off of previous exhibition pistols, and they kind of upped the ante each time. And these are absolutely magnificent examples of French artistry. As I mentioned earlier, this pair of pistols is actually dated 1855, but we know they were on display at the World's Fair in 1862, and they may have been on display at multiple other French exhibitions. We know from other firearms from the World's Fairs in the time period that a lot of these guns would have went to multiple events as they remained in part of this gunmaker's exhibition catalog, as masterpieces of their finest work to show off to both the nobility that might be able to actually buy these fine firearms, but also the public, just to show them the grandeur. These were public works meant to be on display, meant to be seen. By the early 20th century, this shotgun was actually on display for the public again at the Herald's Club in Reno, Nevada. They had a famous gun collection that was actually on display in their restaurant, and this was one of their crown jewels. If you look at some of the newspaper articles about their collection, this shotgun comes up over and over again as, one of the finest pieces of firearms art ever created. And when you look at it, you can absolutely see why. If you look at these pistols and this shotgun side by side, and you kind of look at some of the photos of some other examples we've sold in the past of French exhibition guns, you'll see themes that kind of run throughout the French exhibition pieces in the 19th century. And on the shotgun in particular, if you take a look at the other details, you'll see that it connects to both wine and the pleasures of the hunt. So you've got back here, starting on the butt plate thing, you've got a group of dogs subduing a boar. You've got a vulture up here. You've got a pair of hounds here forming the hammers, and when they are fired, they pounce on the foxes here on the fence. You've got a hare down here at the tail of the trigger guard. You've got a pheasant here in 3 dimensions on the trigger guard bow. Just really exquisitely chiseled details carrying that theme throughout. And you can kind of see how wine and hunting kind of flow together in this beautiful masterpiece. Multiple artisans would have been at work at this. You would have had the metal workers doing the very fine detailing on the barrels, and you would have had an expert stock carver doing this fine detail on the stock. Basically, the entire surface of the stock is finely carved, and it's not just carved on the upper elements. If you look at the backgrounds are finely textured. Another top-notch level just to bring it up and make it absolutely luxurious. And as you can see from looking at these sets, it's not just the guns that are over the top. The cases and the accessories are also exceptional. So in the shotgun case, you've got these iron strapping with relief engraving. You've got MG for Manuel Gonzalez here on the lid escutcheon. And then if you take a look at the pistol case, you've got 3-dimensional raised relief carving that coordinates with the stocks. And then I've pulled out 2 of my favorite accessories from inside the pistol case. You can see this floral shaped measure here that's just absolutely finely detailed all throughout. So this is just a little simple tool, but they took the time to make it a work of art. And then if you take a look at the powder flask, same thing. Almost the entire surface, other than this top portion here, finely detailed and absolutely gorgeous, itself a work of art. When you take a look at the complete sets, you can see the French gun makers showing off their superiority, just like the other French artists, the oil painters, the sculptors. And these works themselves are sculpted pieces of metal and ebony in extraordinary quality. So absolutely belong in art museums right alongside those other works of art. And you will find most of these French exhibition pieces in museums around the world, in both France, England, the United States. And it's very rare to get opportunities to be able to buy these at auction, let alone see them outside of museum glass. This beautiful work of art from 1860 by Lepage Moutier is going to be on display and available for sale in our upcoming Premier Firearms auction, alongside other beautiful works of firearms art. When you take a look at these pieces, you can see that they are absolutely exceptional in all the fine details, just like the most beautiful Monet painting or an epic sculpture. These are stunning works of art.